Here is my review of Free Guy, starring Ryan Reynolds and Jodie Comer. All right. So this movie should have been released a long time ago, but because of the pandemic, it has been pushed off. And I thought it had a very unique trailer, and I was pretty excited to see the movie. So stick around and find out if this movie is worth your time or not. All right, I'm going to stay as spoiler free as I possibly can during this during this review. The trailer is pretty much giving you the information that I'm going to give you today. We've got Ryan Reynolds, who is known as an NPC in a video game. He is a non-playable character, and he is stuck in a world that is just repetitive over and over and over again. He does the same things, and he starts to become self-aware. And that's all I'm going to give you as far as the plot goes. We do have this girl in the game that he meets who is a player in real life, and he wants to be with this girl, which creates some complications because he's not real. And there's corporate espionage in this movie. There's a much better story to this film than I was expecting. So it was really fun to watch this movie. There are some incredible jokes. I mean, laugh out loud, hilarious jokes. And this movie is done by 20th Century Studios. Now, they're not called Fox anymore because Disney bought them. Because of that, they're all under the Disney brand, which allows them to use music and bring in components of the Disney brand from different franchises that you wouldn't expect, which makes for a very interesting and some very funny scenes in the movie. And I will tell you that Jodie Comer, she does an incredible job with her character. She plays a dual role in this movie. She plays the girl in the game as well as a girl in real life who was one of the programmers who created the game. And you've got Ryan Reynolds, who is also awesome in this movie. Everyone played their parts well, and it was a fun movie, and it had a really good resolution at the end. It ends up being a really traditional, interesting, fun story to tell that has a lot of heart to it. So for the most part, this movie was a hit. Okay. I do recommend seeing it. This does not make it perfect, though. I'm going to talk about a couple of the things that bothered me. I immediately noticed, and I'm going to start something new with these reviews, too. I'm going to start giving the woke factor. I don't think I have any choice at this stage. Movies, these studios feel like they have to cram stuff down your throat, and it really takes you out of the moment in the film. And there were a couple in this movie. I'm going to talk about the woke factor first, and then I'm going to talk about something else I really did not like. But it served the film, but I didn't care for it. The woke factor. Let's talk about the woke. Well, actually, I'll leave the woke factor until last. Let me talk about the thing I didn't like first that was in there that served the movie well, but I just didn't really care for. Back when Wreck-It Ralph came out, probably about 10 years ago, there was when they would put out these Disney movies, they always do an animated short before it. And Wreck-It Ralph got a 2D animated cartoon called Paperman, which has now become my absolute favorite 2D animated short ever created. Like, I adore this short. It is really, really well done. There isn't a single word spoken in that short, but there is so much heart and so much character to that short. So if you have not seen it, I would go look up Paperman and definitely check it out. Well, Christopher Beck did the music for that 2D animated short. That was maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes. I don't remember exactly how long it was, but I have seen this thing like 100 times. It's really good. I'm very familiar with the music. I actually bought that track and I have it on iTunes because I like the music. It really, really brought out some heart in that 2D animated feature. Well, that's the main theme to Free Guy. Christopher Beck is the composer on the film, and they recycled that exact music from that short is the heart and soul of this particular movie. And for me, being so familiar with it, it was uber distracting. Okay. So I didn't care for that aspect. I think he could have done something similar, something new and fresh, but he borrowed from that animated feature. All right. So let's talk about the woke factor now. And then I will give you my final score. So the woke factor, there were two things that really, really bothered me in the film. The first one, not as much, but one of the guys who was a programmer who helped create the game, he's a young guy in his 20s, and he starts talking to one of his coworkers about all this debt he has and how he went to college and he's got mountains of debt and all this other stuff. And the guy looked at him and said, there's your white privilege. And he kind of walked away. And so Hollywood can't help themselves with this stuff. And then there's a part later in the film, and this totally took you out of the moment. For the most part, this movie is very fun. It's very vibrant. It's meant to be funny, engaging, and just you can go and have a good time with this movie. But there's one scene where they talk about gun violence in the real world. And it's while they're in this game, and it totally took away from the moment. Like it brought the feeling to a grinding halt. And it was just thrown in there, and it was completely unnecessary. If these things would have been left out, I would have given this movie a half a star more than I'm going to give it. But because that stuff is in there, it really takes away from the moment when you're watching the movie. And I don't understand why Hollywood can't see this and why they can't help themselves. So I'm going to start doing the woke factor on every single movie that I review. So with this one, because of that, I'm going to give this film a total of 3.5 stars. I wanted to give it 4. I really enjoyed it. There are some really laugh out loud, incredible moments in this film and some really fun stuff to go see. So I would highly recommend the movie. Just be aware that it's not perfect. It's not a completely smooth ride, but this is one of those films that I think is going to be talked about for a while. And hopefully it ends up being a staple in some people's libraries. I think it will be talked about for quite some time. It was really well done. I hope it's not just a movie that comes and goes and doesn't get talked about. I think it deserves to be talked about because they took some interesting things out of games and the way the world is today with video games and kind of made it into this very interesting story. So I really enjoyed it. So, but at the end of the day, I'm giving it 3.5 stars. I would have liked to have given it 4, but because of, like I said, Hollywood and their wokeness, they can't help themselves. So there's my review. There's my review on Free Guy, which did just get released today. You guys definitely will have a good time if you go see it this weekend. So if you've seen it, let me know your comments below, and I would love to hear what other people thought. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and please share it. I would appreciate every share you can give me. I'm going to continue to do movie reviews, and I'm glad movies are back. I can tell you the theater was packed tonight, and I really enjoyed going to the movies and seeing this film, and I hope you guys do too. All right, we'll see you guys on the next recap.